James, you're a veteran and household chef and student. You're an Ander. National University supports the whole you, so you can focus on what's right in front of you. Learn more at nu.edu.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. This show is brought to you by DraftKings. In this hour, we will get into the games in the NFL that really don't mean much to the teams in terms of the overall playoff picture. And overall, it could be considered, quote, meaningless. Brad Powers on the show coming up in about 30 minutes as well. And here, Pauly, a bunch of questions about the point spreads and where they're at this week for Week 18 in the NFL. For example, in no particular order here, why again are the Chargers taking money and favored by 3.5 points against the Chiefs?
I don't get it, and I'll take the Chiefs on Sunday. It might even go up. But, you know, we talked about this earlier, too, about you can expect the unexpected. There was a couple of years ago, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers needed the game in Week 17 against the Lions, who were awful, and David Blau almost beat them. They had the lead late, and the Packers had to rally to get the W. So someone, I don't know who it's going to be, but there'll be a quarterback that'll put up ridiculous numbers and will come in Monday and say, how did that happen? Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be Easton Stick. I'll tell you that. And if someone is going to go off in this game or maybe throw for multiple touchdowns, I would say it'd be Gabbert and not Stick. And certainly the same thing is true with the totals. Well, you look at how so low some of these totals are when you have backups playing.
Yeah, and I think that's the case every year in the final week of the regular season. Now,
backups can lead to turnovers, too.
Oh, for sure.
That could happen.
Now, for a lot of these games, it's not going to be like an official bet or, you know, us telling you got to go bet this side. Some of them might be. But it's also like just to stay away. Like I might not take the Chiefs, but there's absolutely no chance I'm betting on the Chargers to win by 4 points or more in this game. Mm-hmm. There's no way that would ever be a consideration for me. Why is Atlanta taking money here at Circa now? The Saints are 3.5 even money. At a lot of books across the country, they're 3. Why is Atlanta taking money against the Saints?
I don't know. They've been so bad on the road. I mean, the what could have been season. You lose to Washington at home, and you lose to Carolina in Arizona. Come on. Maybe it's the Saints can't repeat what they did last week in a perfect 3 quarters against Tampa. Saints at DraftKings to make the playoffs, plus 250. Atlanta 7-1. But even if again, which we talked on, Saints could still get the 7 seed. That's not far-fetched that they win and they get a Green Bay and Seattle loss too. But I don't want the Falcons.
Yeah, and again, I will point out that I typically am not going to be a spot where I want to back Derek Carr. I want nothing to do with that guy for the most part. Also, the Saints, as we saw again last week, they're just a much better team on the road than they are at home. But I can't get there with the Falcons at a field goal. We have the entire season now to go on, and Arthur Smith is completely lost, and I don't know how he possibly, retains his job. In fact, when we're on the air on Monday, he's got to be gone. He's got to be gone. On Black Monday next week, I expect him to be one of, I don't know how many, 8 guys that could be gone. 10 guys could be fired. This division is just bonkers. What could happen? How many guys could get the axe? Although it appears if Dennis Allen's going to be safe.
Oh, no.
No, I was hearing stuff like that earlier in the week.
What if they lose?
That's
They're going to bring him. Oh, come on.
Exactly my thought.
All you need to know is every year of his coaching career, the team has gone under their win total.
Yeah. Now, this one's been wild. Again, Dan Campbell came out, head coach of the Lions. He said this very early in the week. I have controlled fury. I'm a high-octane person. We're going to play our starters. And yet the Vikings crashed from 6 down to 3. Finally, some money showed on the Lions yesterday. But why did that number come down to 3? Why was I
don't know. They need it. Nick Mullins? I don't know. Who thought they were going to start Hall? To me, that was never a consideration. It had to be Mullins. But still, the Vikings need a miracle, but still was something to play for, but I don't see it. They can't. Very disappointed in their defense last week, too. It's like they gave up because they knew Hall wasn't going to do anything, and that thing was then 23-3. So, horrible job how O'Connell has handled this. But I want the Lions with a pissed-off Detroit team at home with something to... Yeah,
as do I.
Absolutely.
We had a guest on the show yesterday, Ben Raven, who covers the Lions, and he flat out told us told us that Dan Campbell's the most trustworthy person he's ever talked to, ever listened to in his life. Head coach. What he says is what he does. He doesn't BS around anybody. So assuming that is the case and they're pissed off, we got to take him at his word. And yeah, I know what happened a couple of weeks ago when the Vikings blew that game and Mullins had 400 yards passing and bunch of turnovers.
Well, the Vikings couldn't stop Detroit either.
Oh, no, it goes both ways there.
Yeah, right.
I can't get on board with the Vikings in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. How about the Jacksonville game? Up to 5.5. Good news for Lawrence. You're going to get Kirk back. And, I didn't mention this last week, but they got Robinson back. And this long losing streak coincided with his not being available. So you get that big shot in the arm on the O-line. I know Vrabel talked a big game, but it's easier said than done. And they've been a better team at home. I don't know. I don't know if I can take the 5.5 with Tennessee.
Well, here's the question, though. Do you trust Jacksonville to win by a touchdown or more in this game? On the road. Yeah. Tennessee's played them tough over the years.
Well, not in the first meeting. They got blown out.
Over the years.
But that's, I do trust Jacksonville. I do.
Oh, you do?
If Lawrence is back, I do. Yes. Because they're getting everyone back. And they're getting healthy on the offensive line.
This could be the swan song for Vrabel, too, by the way.
They could not protect Tannehill and Levis when they were in there last week. And I know it was Bryce Young, but at least better job defensively out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, this is a really tough one for me.
You had playoff aspirations and hopes. I mean, you've been a major disappointment. I got this one right. I thought Tennessee was going to have a bad year.
I would also say Jacksonville's been a wild disappointment. Yeah. I don't, and you don't like Peterson.
Well, he's overrated, I think. But this is, I think they get the win and cover here.
Why are the Eagles 5 against the Giants? That first half is 3. Mm-hmm. Is it simply because, again, assuming here for a second that Sirianni says, yeah, we're going to play all of our guys, we got to win this game. Is it scoreboard watching? And once and if they realize the Cowboys are up 21-3, it's okay, guys, take a seat on the bench.
I wouldn't do that, but I don't know. You got to play a complete game. You've looked like trash for 2 months now. So they need some confidence. They need to go play a game without turning the ball over, and they need to fix this defense too. Get some stops and get some confidence. And Sal doesn't like them in the first round against anybody.
No.
It sounds like, but they got to get this thing back on track. So I would play people, and I would try to have a good showing.
As would I, assuming they do. Let's say that he makes up his mind. Yep, it's a full go. All of they have. Now I know the second half with Tyrod Taylor, it completely flipped. So that could carry over into this game from Christmas Day a little bit because Tyrod Taylor is a good, serviceable quarterback in this league.
He should have beat the Rams last week.
Yeah, much better than Tommy Cullitz. Okay. But overall, again, this team has dominated the Giants over the years. Eagles first quarter maybe worth a play.
Well, you got to get A.J. Brown involved.
Yeah, he's
again.
Pissed off again.
He should be. I mean, he's been on a milk carton for months. Get him involved in the passing attack like he was. And why he was so good last year and why you went to the Super Bowl.
You come out with your hair on fire. Everybody's playing, in theory now. The last time that Brown got pissed off on the sideline with Hurts, guess what? He exploded. He went for like 5 or 6 games in a row with 125 receiving yards. The Devontae Smith injury certainly is a concern. Giants overall, not a very good football team. And then maybe once the Eagles go to halftime, just trying to kick around every possibility here, and they look and they see, okay, we're not going to win the East. Guys, you played really well for a first half. We're up now by 14.
Yep.
Now I'll go to the backups here.
Okay.
Here's
How about
one.
Seattle?
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Well, I was going to say, in my defense of this one, too, remember, Tennessee couldn't move the ball at home against Seattle. How bad has their defense been? And that's why I think Jacksonville can move it as well. But this is – Geno Smith has played well in, 2 games? Dallas on Thursday night and the win against Detroit. That's been about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is just alarming how bad that they've been defensively. And last week was embarrassing to get gashed on the ground like that. Pittsburgh did whatever they wanted. And now you're going against Arizona with trying to play spoiler. And Gannon saying Murray's our franchise guy. He's going to be here for many, many years. And this is a vicious beat. Vicious if Arizona wins this game and goes over the win total.
Yep. So
look at the wins.
Overall, here's my biggest question of the game. All things considered, recent form, last month or so, give or take, since Kyler Murray came back, and assuming again that they want to go out there and play the role of spoiler here and everybody's going to be a full goal for Gannon and the Cardinals, Would the Seahawks be favored, or would they deserve to be favored in this spot if it wasn't do or die for this team, if they didn't need it like blood? Would they be favored in the game?
Probably not. I also think the total's too low.
Arizona's been, one of those teams.
Yeah, look at the
terrible.
Look what they did against Philly.
Yeah, sure. Terrible defense, and their offense has been clicking. I got to tip my cap to Kyler Murray.
Gannon's done a nice job too. I mean, he had some weird, when they saw that video that came out with the rah stuff. Done a pretty good job considering he was with the quarterback situation, and then that they were supposed to tank and maybe win 2 games. They have been great down the stretch since Murray came back.
Yep, and here's what has to happen for Seattle to get in. They need to win this game outright. Again, they have to win, hence the 2.5 or 3-point favorite in this game. Shop around. And the Packers have to lose the game to the Bears, or they have to get a tie. Or they can also get in with a tie, Packers loss, Buccaneers loss or tie, or a Saints loss or tie in that situation.
Yeah, the make has gone up now. That's up to 3-1 at DraftKings. The yes.
Is that right? Yeah. I honestly, I think that the only reason why they're favored in this game is because they have to have it. And I bet the Cardinals, I found 3 yesterday. I laid -115 with the Cardinals.
Okay. And then I also played the under in the New England game.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Now it's so damn low. If this keeps going down, it'll be the lowest total since 1993. We're at 30.5.
Okay.
But you're supposed to get bad weather, snowstorm, and then 2 horrific offenses. So, but then again, there could be turnover. Look what Simeon did in the Thursday night game.
I still don't know why. First of all, the Patriots have been below a field goal, and the Jets are taking money. I don't get that one. We'll dive into the games involving teams with nothing on the line this weekend in terms of the playoffs. Bettors have lined up like they already know the result, yet resistance and Circa Survivor.
Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Get a daily email recapping all the best bets, every host and guest. Unlimited access to the VSiN.com/picks page. Sort by sport, matchup, date, and more. Check the leaderboard to view betting records, profit, ROI, who has the hot hand, pro picks, betting splits, power ratings, great dog videos. Sign up now, $9.99, VSiN.com/subscribe.
All right, how about some games that really don't mean anything in terms of overall playoff position this week? And what do they really have to play for? Number 1, Browns and the Bengals, right? Okay, and you've been all over this again since Monday. You've bet the Bengals a couple of times. You got better numbers now than where the market's at. You bet them immediately at 4.5.
Why?
And then at 6.
I'm not splitting the atom here. I don't understand why.
No,
everyone knew this. Stefanski says I'm not playing anybody.
Right, he came out right away and said, I'm not playing, guys.
No, I didn't think it'd be Driscoll off the street.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to play anyone, and you thought, well, okay, it's not going to be like the best motivation, but certainly now money quotes out of Zach Taylor. We're going to do everything we can necessary to win. We don't want to go 0 for the division, and it'd be nice to go 9-8.
Does Driscoll have a little Flacco fever in him?
I can't.
Off the couch, 5 days, bombs away, goes deep.
No. No help around him. This is run the ball, go home.
So this is interesting in terms of Circa Survivor. And more on this with Mike Palm coming up in about 45 minutes. L.A. Jones, who is one of the 4 remaining entries, and they're playing, there has been a chop. But overall, the pot was $9.2 million. He already said on Twitter that he's not going to take the Bengals.
That's what he tweeted. He can change his mind, but
he can.
They're laying 7 points. But this guy's been living right. He made a multi-million-dollar mistake on Thanksgiving. He selected Green Bay instead of Detroit, and then the proxy calls him the following Saturday. Hey, you got your pick in? And he told us on the air there's a chance he wasn't even going to answer the call.
Yep.
Because he had no idea. He was going to send it to voicemail. He was driving.
I think he was driving. I think he said it was like 45 minutes or an hour before the deadline. This is 2 days later. Because, again, Thanksgiving is its own separate week. He assumed that he clicked on the Lions on Thanksgiving Day because the proxy has it set up where you can submit it on his website. And then, nope, he had the Packers. Had no idea, thought he was out of the contest. Remember, he told us his mother passed away like the week before.
Yep.
So he's like, his mind isn't right. He just assumed that he was out of the contest, and all of a sudden there's a phone call. Well, I guess I'll answer.
Right. But still, Bill, could be worth a couple $1 million here too. What these guys are still playing for. 4 guys left. Our guy Indiana Jet, who we met, and he watches every day. Out of the teams that are favored, the options: Cincinnati, New Orleans, Green Bay, Las Vegas, and New England.
What would your pecking order be there?
I go Cincinnati 1. Oh, God. Saints 2, Patriots. Oh, boy.
I think I'd go Raiders 2.
I don't want to take I want to take someone at least has something to play for. So I go New Orleans over New England.
Yeah.
And I don't want the Packers.
No, neither do I.
I don't want to do that.
Here's what the Raiders have to play for. Devontae Adams and others have already come out and said Pierce should get the job.
Yeah.
I think they're going to want to go out there and play for him, showing Mark Davis that this guy should be the guy next year.
L.A. Jones also has Pittsburgh available. He's the only guy.
Oh.
Yeah? Do it on a Saturday? Get nuts? Whew. Tough. I'm surprised he said that. But again, you don't want. Do you want to be on the same side as the other guys? But that's who knows. Maybe 3 guys take Cincinnati. I don't know.
So he's playing for at minimum an additional $500,000, right? Because $2 million is up for grabs yet. It wasn't a full chop. They chopped like I think according to what we know, like $7.2 million. So they're going to play for the additional $500,000 minimum, maybe more than that, up to $2 million. You want Pittsburgh on the road against Baltimore?
Well, it's also a beautiful hedge, though, too. I'm laying. Who knows where that number goes Sunday with Cincinnati? Could keep going up. Might be 8.5. I don't know.
That's a great point. Where
great for a hedge strategy.
You could have the Bengals as your final, and then if it goes 7.5, and then you win everything, you scoop Jackson.
Yep. Okay. I don't know what Mark Davis is going to do, but now the whole locker room's behind Pierce, and I'm with you. I saw enough last week. Guy's punting 4th and 1 and a must-win from the opponent's 40-yard line. Oh boy.
I'll have more on a potential coaching situation in about 25 minutes.
What would you do if you're Matt Humans? Can't wait to ask Mike Palm this coming up. He's 1st and 3rd in the quarterly. Give me 2, Utah. 2.
Okay, so how many of rest assured, the numbers are going to be different at Saturday's deadline than when they pop today on the openers for circa millions, right?
He could take stale numbers.
So do you go...
He could go opposite. I don't know.
Let's say that, because again, he's got 2 of the top 3 overall in the quarterly, playing for a lot of money here, 6 figures. What if there are 5 big line moves come Saturday? Do you put all 5 on one entry and then go opposite on the other?
Yeah, he could do that.
All in on one then?
You could also just say, I'm hot and I'm riding whatever I like, I'm playing. I'm 17-2-1. I could live to 90 and be in this damn contest every year. I'll never get a 17-2-1, what he's doing.
Well,
so Humans is on fire.
As he said, he's seen the board now, right? It's like Bradley Cooper in Limitless.
Okay, but
take the pill, everything opens up a little bit.
What a movie. God, it's a good movie. How about the one loser he had, though, last week? He took Carolina, stale number.
Yeah, all right.
It was 6.5 in the contest, came down to 3.5.
I took them in the contest last week. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
a lot of people did.
Yeah, okay.
So it doesn't always. That's actually part of the strategy, right? Is like, okay, people are going to be on that stale number, so it's like, do I stay away or do I go on the opposite side to try to steal a game?
How about this angle? We've asked this. We asked this several times, whether it's baseball or football. In August, there was a blackjack tournament and the draft afterwards. Everyone got a pick. There were 32 people. So it goes back to the AFC was a force. It's just San Francisco and Philly in the NFC. Who would you take if I gave you a free Super Bowl future? And there are some big tickets on the line that are out here. This is back in August, and Mike Palm tweeted this out. First pick went Philly. Then it went Cincinnati. Bad break with Burrow. Third pick in the draft, $8,000 future, the Chargers. Yikes.
Well, you were betting on variance there.
Uh-huh.
Right, for Staley to actually have it go his way, and it never did.
This is the one I took the 49ers 8th at 7-1. You took the Jags 10th.
Yeah.
At 33-1 for 2,500.
Well, and the Ravens were a consideration.
Oh, yeah. And
but I was
13th, yeah.
I was deathly afraid of that division.
Yeah, I thought about it too. But I'm like, I have to go NFC here. I mean, I got the Niners. Come on. I have the most talented team. Nicholas Lombardo is live. He took Cleveland 11th, 38-1.
No, that's a good-looking ticket right there.
They didn't go in the last draft in December. I was shocked.
The Browns went 1 pick behind me, taking Jacksonville.
Okay.
But, yeah, look at all those dead tickets that were taken immediately in the draft.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, the
Cincinnati dead. Chargers dead. Minnesota dead.
Bills might be dead.
Bills could be dead.
A 10-win Bills team.
The third team, the team with the third best odds right now to win the Super Bowl could miss the playoffs.
Yep.
Could get the 2, could miss the playoffs. Patricia Valdez, Packers, 71-1, 2,500. She wins, she's in, she can maneuver. Okay? That's a look at the first 16.
Well, she really wanted the Eagles to win the division. Would have been such a better matchup for Green Bay.
Now it gets interesting. Now let's get nuts, okay? You got Michael Sanderson, the Saints, 28 to 1, 20th. But look at this. Look at Chad, the Rams, 92 to 1. He's in the playoffs, a $2,000 ticket. And then I have a piece of this ticket, 27. Scott Tribuco, the Houston Texans, 250 to 1 for $1,500. Come on, win Saturday. Let's go. Guess what? 28th, the Colts, 130 to 1. This guy winning in. Same situation. And now I believe, do you remember this? You were sitting right next to me. Look who went 29th. If Tampa wins, they win the division. I think the guy didn't even show up for the draft. He did so bad in the draft.
Yeah.
I think he was assigned the Buccaneers.
I think you're right.
And I didn't even know what happens to the ticket at that point.
I think it drew out of the hat.
4 people didn't show up for the draft. Guys, 29, 30, 31, 32. 29, Wesley Hernandez. The Buccaneers at 225 to 1. The guy wins. He wins the division.
Yeah, I know, by the way, they might be hosting a dead Philadelphia team
and
right
hosting
now.
a game.
Yep.
Oh, mama.
That could be the spot. And I don't even know, would you hedge at that point with them hosting Philadelphia? Maybe you let it ride. Maybe all these people with tickets that are going to be available and you let it ride for a little bit, okay?
Uh-huh.
Like my ticket, for example.
Look at that. That's almost a $200,000 ticket on the Rams.
If it's going to be Jacksonville, Cleveland in round 1, and that's a pick 'em, or Jacksonville's favored, I'm absolutely betting on the Browns. There's zero doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
I have to.
Right.
I hate this Jacksonville team. I think they stink.
Right.
They've completely underperformed. I have no faith in Trevor Lawrence. The team can't stay healthy. The defense is awful. I don't care what happened last week. And, maybe stock down on Doug Peterson. By the way, your partner, Scott Tribuco.
Oh, this is
He
great.
wasn't even paying attention.
No, wasn't even paying attention. He walks up to the window with the draft. I'm going to take the Steelers. I'm screaming at him. They just went.
Yeah.
And he just, okay, I guess I'll take the Texans. And then here they are.
You and others are screaming at him, take Carolina. They almost won the division.
That's true. I did.
And he's like, I guess I'll take the Texans.
I know. I was mad at him.
A total mistake.
I go, why don't you take Carolina? It's a bad division. And he takes the Texans. If they win, they're in. It's almost $400,000, that ticket. And stranger things have happened. C.J. Stroud.
That kind of worked out for them, huh?
Got to win Saturday, but the same thing with the guy picking 28th. I mean, you do this with Minshew, that they can make the playoffs. And still win the division, by the way.
Pro sports bettor Brad Powers. Next, we'll find out which path he's betting in the national title game coming up here on VSiN.
Great New Year's special, VSiN Pro Access. Everything we do through May 1st, only $79. Unlimited access to the daily best bets, betting splits, premium analysis, 24/7 video, and all the betting guides. Limited time offer, VSiN.com/subscribe through May 1st. Everything for $79. Get it now.
Professional sports bettor Brad Powers joins the program now. You can follow him on X. He's at BradPower7, website BradPowersports.com. Brad, as always, thanks for the time. Last Thursday episode here with only one more game to be played in college football. It's the Natty next Monday night. Where are you at emotionally as another college football season comes to an end?
Oh, I'm fine with it being over with. I didn't have a good season, so I'm ready to start prepping for 2024. So I'm kind of washed my hands with it a little bit. I'm not sad. I mean, I'll probably miss it a month or so from now, but I'm excited to get in the off season here.
Okay. Like, have you already started making notes for next year? I'm guessing that answer is obviously, yeah.
Yep, I have. Yep. Started, firing up the transfer portal, recruiting stuff, inputs. So, yeah, it's already started. Schedules are set for Big Ten and SEC already. So, it's already started. It has to. I mean, with the roster overhaul, coaching overhaul, it's not something, you know what? It's 4th of July. Let's start prepping for college football. Those days are done.
So other than like the outrights for next year to win the national championship, when do you think books will post other bets, like conference odds, win totals overall, like where it's going to be like readily available for people?
It's a good question. Seems to get earlier every year.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff pop as early as February. here, not widely available. I mean, I would say sometime in the spring you start getting stuff widely available. I mean, week 1's pretty much widely available in May now, so I think you can make pretty much any bet you want on any market probably sometime in May.
Okay. And you've made one bet for next year so far?
I did. I bet Colorado under 6.5 wins. Pretty happy with that bet. I think they'll be improved. But it'll be interesting. I know they think that, the conference they're going to, the Big 12 is going to be easier. Yeah, maybe at the top it will be, but there's just not going to be a lot of layups in that conference. There's not a lot of separation between teams, and worried about this coaching staff. In case you missed it, the OC gone, DC gone. I think this is a one-off for Dion. This is it. He's going to coach his kid for one more year, so a lot of instability for that team, and I just don't trust it.
Okay. Your thoughts on the title game now with Washington and Michigan, and even your observations on Alabama gets one stop there, 4th and 2, and they're going to win the game, and Michigan wins in overtime.
Yeah, let me first, I'll start with the Rose Bowl takeaways. Obviously, I thought Michigan was probably the right side, even though they were down 7, they're late. But, they won the line of scrimmage, particularly in the first half. They controlled matters, probably should have been up more on Alabama. It's probably fortunate Alabama was only down 3 at the break. But with that being said, sorry about that. With that being said, I mean, you make one stop, game over. And that was kind of the story of my season. I mean, anything that was kind of a 50-50 type of game, I did not come out on top in that regard. I thought Alabama got outcoached. I thought, they're certainly not as talented as what they've been in the past at the skill position, particularly a wide receiver. Quarterback struggled to throw the ball, Milroe. And then obviously the biggest takeaway was, the offensive line was atrocious, particularly at center. So that was the negative for Alabama. Kudos for Michigan for overcoming some mistakes. They were a little tight probably early. J.J. McCarthy showed that by throwing, basically a pick on the first play that they got reviewed and overturned. But Michigan impressed me. They're deep. They won the line of scrimmage. And, moving over to the next game, Washington also impressed me. I would argue that Washington's best 2 performances of the entire season have been their last 2 games. So they controlled matters pretty much start to finish. They were the right side in that game. How does that, portray into this game? I think Michigan's style of play is it's more repeatable, if that makes sense. Yeah. I trust it. It's more consistent. I think they're more deep than Texas is up front on defense, and they're obviously better than Texas is on the back end and the secondary. I think Michigan's ability to run on Washington is probably the biggest edge in the game. I think they can run right at Washington's front, to say the least. The question is, Michael Penix. Certainly when he's on, it's pretty. It's if he has one of those types of games where he's throwing the ball down 40, 50 yards down the field and it's right there in the breadbasket, tough to beat. But I think he's going to get a little bit more pressure. Not that Michigan's going to sack him like they did Milroe 6 times, but they get a little bit of pressure in his face a little bit more than Texas did. I think they can disrupt matters. I bet Michigan on the open -3.5. I'll probably come back and bet it again if I can get a cheap money line, which is usually what you see on game day for national championship, Super Bowl type of events. So I bet the Wolverines. I'm rooting for them pretty good because I got one of my bigger bets on them. I laid 3.5. Do
you have a number in mind when you mention cheap money line? Like if it reaches what number, are you going to be like, okay, that's good enough for me, I'm going to fire?
Yeah, -175 is what I'm looking at now. It was available there for a little bit. I guess I'm too stupid and too slow. I was thinking, you know what, maybe I get even cheaper than that because you do have this phenomenon where, it's a national title game. You get a little bit more recreational action. And you know what they want to do? They want to bet a little to win a lot. Easiest way to do that is to bet Washington, the underdog, on the money line. So I was thinking, hey, man, maybe I can get a -150. Market seems to like this Washington team at least more than I do. So a little bit missed opportunity there. But if it comes back to like -175, I think the cheapest I can get right now is -185. I'll be making another bet on Michigan. And you know what that means? Washington will win by 3 touchdowns, knowing how my season's gone.
You mentioned during the break the lack of leadership with college football in the NC2A is alarming. I can't believe they played a playoff game that got over at 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Well, how about what the FCS is doing? The game should be Saturday, leading into Pittsburgh and Baltimore. They're playing Sunday afternoon. South Dakota State against Montana in the championship game. I saw your tweet with what Sagarin has this Jackrabbit team with those great North Dakota State teams. Do you agree with that? And what do you think of South Dakota State laying 12.5?
Yeah, he's got him. I mean, if you want to put it in perspective, going back to 98 when his power rankings got published in the BCS era, he's got him as third best FCS team in the last quarter century. I agree with that. If you look at this year, he's got him in the top 20, counting FBS teams in his power rankings. I would have South Dakota State, if we're putting them in the FBS,
okay,
they'd be in my top 30. That's how good this team is. 28 straight wins. This year they played 9 ranked teams at the FCS level, obviously won all those games. You look at some of their statistical profile, they are plus 3.2 yards per play margin. To put that in perspective, if we're talking the last 10 years or so in college football, you talk about the two best college football teams at the FBS level, that would be probably 2019 LSU, 2020 Alabama. They were like plus 2.8 yards per play margin. South Dakota State plus 3.2. That's how dominant this team has been. And obviously, look at the point spread. They're, near 2-touchdown favorite in a national championship game. Now, would I bet them? No. I play numbers. There was a very early 14.5 that I took a little bit of piece on Montana. But I will say this, the more I dive into it, the more I think about it. I think South Dakota State, even being a significant favorite, is probably the right side. Nothing significant value, though. Not compared to what I've been betting all year at the FCS level.
What do you think of DJ going to Florida State?
That's okay. It doesn't really move the needle too much for me. Like, Florida State's going to be back to being a playoff team. They got some holes in that roster that they got to clear up. And I got to be honest with you guys. I know the game didn't mean anything. I know they were devastated not being in the playoff. I still would have liked to seen a little bit more competitive spirit out of that team than what I saw. Texas A&M was down 15 starters with an interim coach. They showed their quarterback got hurt on the first offensive series of the game. They showed more competitive spirit than what Florida State did.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. Next year, obviously, when we go to the 12-team playoff, the other bowl games, though, I can't, what are they, honestly, how many players are going to take those seriously?
Not many. And so what do I have to do? I got to tone it down a little bit. I made over 70 bets on the Open, had a losing record, even with more than 2 points per game on average, had a losing record. So I'm going to have to, I know it's tempting for me when I see stuff and I expect it to move significantly.
Right.
I'm going to be a little bit less volume next bowl season.
Yeah. Well, look how wild. I'll bring up the Ohio State game.
You could buy back, though, too.
Oh.
But
Open 6.5, Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Missouri got to a 2.5 point favorite. Then on game day, Brad, that reached, 5? Was it even higher than that on game day? And they go out there and they look like that?
Yeah. Tough pill to swallow.
Oh.
That one. I should have stuck with my initial gut instinct, but that was Missouri.
You're right about. I think Georgia could have done the tush push the entire game and covered.
Could have taken a knee on 2/3 of their snaps and covered that game.
A forward knee and they cover.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
It's not like Georgia didn't have any opt-outs. And you watch the second half, almost their entire lineup's true freshmen, and they're still killing Florida State.
Yep.
Great job, sir. Appreciate it. Enjoy the off season.
Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for having me all year.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're the
Brad.
best.
There you go. Brad Power 7 on X. BradPowerSports.com is the website. Very few people will be surprised if Jim Harbaugh bolts for the NFL after Monday's national title game, but a landing spot referred to as, quote, very much in play for him could surprise you.
Great special at DraftKings with the NBA. Bet 50, get 150 instantly in bonus bets, and get NBA League Pass for the rest of the season. What an offer, and a great card tomorrow. Promo code VSiN. Promo code VSiN for new customers, only at DraftKings. Great menu as always, creativity. We'll run down the props in the NFL tomorrow.
Our show on Monday is going to be truly bonkers.
Oh, yeah. The off-the-charts potential.
It really does.
Humans could win the quarterly. Playoff matchup set. Recap Week 18. College football title game. Black Monday.
Yeah, all of that. And who knows, if it goes correctly, maybe a person who wins Circus Survivor.
Right.
Potentially.
There's another one.
I don't know how many coaches are going to get fired. It's probably going to be a lot. And it could all come Monday during our show, where the news is just going to be breaking one right after another. And I'll give you a little bit of this from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Had a story out yesterday about potentially landing Jim Harbaugh as the next head coach here in Las Vegas. This is what Vinny Bonsignore wrote. In a clear sign that Harbaugh is in play for the NFL, he hired Don Yee as his new agent. Yee is a longtime NFL power broker whose most famous client is Tom Brady. The former NFL star is in the process of buying minority ownership of the Raiders from owner Mark Davis. Brady's growing business partnership and friendship with Davis almost certainly means the former quarterback will have some input in the Raiders coaching search. Throw in his connection with Harbaugh. They both played in Michigan and now share the same agent, and it's easy to connect the dots. The buzz of him being in play for the Raiders has been ongoing since Davis fired McDaniels on Halloween night, but it wasn't clear how interested Harbaugh was in leaving Michigan for the NFL. The hiring of Yee changes all of that, and as an NFL source with knowledge of the situation indicated Tuesday, Harbaugh to the Raiders, quote, is very much in play. Also, Harbaugh, his wife is from Las Vegas. He began his coaching career in 2002 as an assistant. He spent 2 seasons in Oakland as a quarterback coach. And in his short time with the Raiders, he made quite an impression on Al Davis, their longtime owner. Al loved him. The feeling was mutual. And because Al loved him, that feeling trickled down to Mark, and Mark still feels that way about Harbaugh. The Raiders were making a run at Harbaugh back in 2015 before they went down another path. So this could be very real, and I don't think it really matters what happens on Monday night in the national title game. Certainly if he wins, then it's going to be like, okay, I did my job. I came here, my alma mater, won him a national title. Now all hell might break loose, and I got a bolt, and there's too much money to say no, and I'm going to go and be the head coach of the Raiders.
Yeah, who knows how long the suspension could be and what's going to happen down the road for Michigan football. The other thing is, you remember the Seinfeld episode? Costanza goes to the doctor, and he asks him, is it cancer? As he's expecting to get out of here. No way. Doesn't get it, right?
Right.
Doctor won't say, get out of here. He goes, I don't know what it is. He's asked time and time again about the end. He won't say, I love Michigan. I'm staying. He won't do it.
No, he won't.
He won't do it. And now with Yee. The other thing is the Chargers have narrowed their search down, according to reports, to 4 guys. 2 of them are Belichick and Harbaugh. And I'm not 100% that Belichick's gone, but you would think that this is Belichick's final game in New England, and the Crafts are ready to move on. But then does it come down to the Raiders, Chargers, and what job would Harbaugh want? And also, Davis has the pressure of the players. Adams came out and said, I want Pierce, and I think the rest of the locker room wants Pierce to stay. So
I made my feelings clear on Monday.
And plus, Davis got it wrong with Bisaccia. Many think
he got it wrong.
Yeah, it was certainly going to McDaniels. McDaniels took over a team that went to the playoffs, and he drove it right off the cliff.
Yep. You can call me, I understand. Prisoner of the moment, whatever. I don't care. Watching Pierce in that game against the Colts make those decisions twice in the game where he's in plus territory and he punts 4th and short both times. Nope. Can't get on board with that. No way. Got to go. He's going to be old school football.
You can't do that.
We're going to run the football. We're going to play tough defense, and I'm going to pin you at the 1-yard line when it's 4th and 1. It's not the way the game's played anymore. You have to be. I know that's the way he was with the Giants, and he was a really good linebacker, and he's a very aggressive coach as well in terms of like rah-rah, fire the troops up. Let's go out there and knock them in the nose and bloody them up a little bit. Paul, they had a chance to make the playoffs yet.
Yeah, that was horrible. I agree. Now, what do you do with Ben Johnson? And is someone going to give him $14, $15 million a year?
It's a lot of money for a guy who's never done it. Here's the thing about Harbaugh. He's proven across the board. Yep. He is a winner wherever he goes. If you give him enough time, thank God Michigan did, and they didn't panic. This guy will turn whatever team he goes to into a team that has a chance to win a title. It's documented now. It's over and over and over again.
Then again, come on. You're going. Let's say you go from Staley to Harbaugh, and you walk in. You have Herbert and Allen. The guy went to the NFC title game with Alex Smith. I mean,
if you're the Chargers and it came down to both guys, and you had a choice, You can go door one or door two. Door one is Jim Harbaugh. Door two is Bill Belichick. What do you do?
I got to go Harbaugh.
Younger?
Well, you have to. I think Belichick has made a lot of questionable moves here.
Well, that's
and
the
also,
thing. Like,
I'm not even talking about evaluating talent and the horror show that the draft has been.
I don't think you could give him power as the GM.
Well, yeah, it's also the nepotism. You got your kids there on the staff. And
right.
Look at some of the hires. It's bizarre what he's done. He's had a lot, and certainly he's the GOAT. There's a lot of curious moves.
Well,
How about what he did with Butler in the Super Bowl? You're benched. I'm not playing you. And then Nick Foles lights you up. And he's best buddies with Patricia, and they can't stop anything. And certainly what he did against the Rams was impressive, and Belichick taking over there. But it's like, I don't want Myers. I'm going to get Smith-Schuster, and can't draft, and taking Harry and all these guys, and even how he jugged. You knew Mac Jones couldn't play. You still trotted him out there, and the locker room hated him. So many weird moves.
But why could Mac Jones not play? He almost won Rookie of the Year 3 years ago.
Oh, that's okay, right?
Okay,
that's fair.
And because you brought in Patricia and Judge to run the offense.
There you go.
What is that?
That's all time bad last year.
That's probably the worst move that he's done.
That's true.
So if he becomes the head coach anywhere else, I'm sorry. I know that he's going to yield a lot of power, but you got to tell the guy you're not making the decisions at GM. It's been a disaster, and he needs to be told that.
You lost the Super Bowl in a game you didn't punt. I mean, what did Brady throw for 400 or 500 yards in that game or something? You lost?
The drafting has been just, honestly, has a team, I'm sure there's a team, but where were the Patriots rank in terms of drafting over the last 5, 6, 7 years? At the bottom of the league? The kicker that he took, where'd Ryland go in the draft?
Oh, I know.
Didn't he take him like fourth, fifth round?
Terrible,
I have to go back and double check that. Guy's
the
least accurate kicker in the entire league, and you're taking a kicker that high. It's unacceptable.
Yep.
So, but having said that, would I still want Bill Belichick as my coach? Of course I would. And I don't know if this is his last game either. I don't know if the Patriots are just going to say, yeah, come on,
yeah, but it's also the Patriot way, though. Is it the Patriot way, or was it just Brady?
No, it was both.
No,
Belichick's awesome.
I'm saying, can you Can you take that act to Los Angeles, though? And will those players embrace it? I want Harbaugh. I may take Ben Johnson over. I take Ben Johnson over Belichick.
And here's the thing: if you're Mark Davis, you need to make this move as soon as possible because other teams are going to want to swoop in on Harbaugh. I mean, based on this, right? He got Don Yee for a reason. We're talking to Michael Lombardi on Monday. He's basically saying the writing's on the wall here.
Yep. And you don't know about these new guys. Sometimes it works out, other time, but then you look around and you see what Steichen did. I didn't like the hire, but how about Steichen? The guy can win a division, certainly go to the playoffs with Minshew, and they haven't had Taylor much of the year.
Yep.
Not a good defense either. Incredible story, what he's done. So, can't kill you if you go with the hot shot coordinator route.
And also, like what team winning a lot of games this year will lose both coordinators like the Eagles, and it will have a direct result in how successful they are the next year? Because losing Steichen again, and clearly, I mean, is that it? Is that the reason why? It's easy to say that, but the defense for the Eagles, I mean, it's just been, and they haven't been able to really figure out an offense either. I mean, the ups and downs with A.J. Brown all year long. Guy's been pissed off now. This is the second or third time.
Yeah, but a lot of that can go back to point the finger. It hurts, too. Hasn't been healthy, sick, and ridiculous amount of turnovers.
And it's a long season, but going back to week one, knowing what we know now, maybe the writing was on the wall for the Eagles when they should have lost the game to the Patriots, and how bad that team has been this year. The takeaway, it's a long path to get to week 18, but it's like, not a good look. Yeah, they haven't had their A game many times this year at all. So, yeah, I think Harbaugh is going to be candidate number one.
This will be wild to watch. This will be great.
Oh, it's going to be.
But as you said last week,
could be one right after another on Monday morning.
It's set up either way. I mean, either way, I can celebrate. I bring Michigan a national title. Okay, I'm out. Or it's okay. I made the title game, but I know what's coming down the road, and I've already was suspended twice this year.
That's right.
I mean, I was suspended half the season. So
let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mike Palm's going to join us in studio up next. We'll discuss the Chop and Circa Survivor and what the betting action looks like at Circa for the national title game coming up here next on VSiN.
James, you wear a lot of hats. You're a veteran and household chef, a self-taught barber and dream chaser and student. you're an ander. At National University, we see the whole you. That's why we've created online and hybrid programs that flex to help you balance your full life, so you can focus on what's right in front of you. National University, supporting the whole you. Learn more at nu.edu.